Okay, in this video, we are going to be discussing World War III. I have strong indication to believe that we are about to get ourselves into a third world war. And I think that this war is going to be unlike any other war simply because everybody is nuclear capable right now, right? So if we get into a third world war, China, Russia, you name it, there is a good chance that it's going to be a nuclear war, which can be catastrophic not only for the planet, but for every civilization on Earth. I wanted to do this story a while back, but for those of you who are familiar and come here to politics as usual, know that I was suspended by YouTube and I didn't get a chance to do this. And when you get suspended for a week, it can set you back months, especially when you're a one-man show, which I am. On that note, before I get started on the story, I want to thank everybody who subscribed to the channel. I want to thank all my members. I want to thank everybody who donates, everybody who contributes, those of you who come to the live streams, those of you who watch the videos, those of you who donate, those of you with the super chats, those of you who give the Cash App, and or those of you who sign up for the membership, which if you haven't done yet, you can look right there and hit that join button. Look at it, it's right there. You can join for as little as $2.99, and I offer different levels of membership, and you can pick whichever one you feel is best for you. And like I say, also those of you who just come through, hit the thumbs up button and actually watch the content. I just want to let y'all know that I love y'all and I appreciate y'all. But I just want to thank you guys. The little bit that I'm able to get from y'all makes a big difference, and I'm able to bring you stories like this that nobody's gonna talk about from a perspective that you're not gonna hear anywhere else. Honest, truthful, and factual. I'm gonna be telling you stories from different events that are taking place around the world, and then I'm gonna tie them in so you can get a picture of seeing why I am leaning toward it looks like we're going to be going into a third world war. And again, like I say, the problem with going into a third world war is that everybody is nuclear capable. So unlike any World War I or World War II or any of the other wars that we have been in, there's a high likely chance that if we wind up in a third world war, it will be a nuclear war. So on that note, let's get into it. We have now, Joe Biden has decided to pull out of Afghanistan. For those of you who know Joe Biden, know that that is very strange. And for those of you who don't, let me fill you in on why that was strange to me. There is no war that Joe Biden doesn't like. Joe Biden is a warmongering type of individual. He's never seen a war that he didn't like. One of the reasons we're even in Afghanistan is directly because of Joe Biden. He's one of the people that sent us there. The Iraq War, Joe Biden is one of the Democrats that voted for it, right? He sent us into Iraq. Now, for those of you who don't know, when we got attacked on 9/11, we wound up going into Iraq because George Bush and Dick Cheney supposedly said that Saddam Hussein in Iraq had weapons of mass destruction, and they try to connect that also in with Iraq is the one who attacked us on 9/11 and brought down the World Trade Center, the Twin Towers. Come to find out, after we destroyed and demolished the country, after we stole all their resources, after we destabilized them, killed it, overtoppled their government, killed their leader, come to find out they had no weapons of mass destruction, and they didn't have nothing to do with our attack. Nothing at all. Come to find out their opposition had something to do with the attack, right? Because Al-Qaeda in Iraq also don't like each other. So it had nothing to do with Iraq, and it really, at the end of the day, it was Iraqis' enemies that attacked us. So we went in there and demolished and blew that whole country up for no damn reason. Hundreds of thousands of civilians were killed throughout the years in that conflict. And Joe Biden is one of the reasons we were in there, because he voted to do it. He voted for that war. Okay, so Obama comes in. He takes us out of Iraq. He says we need to focus on Afghanistan. Hey, it's time to leave the Iraqi people alone. They didn't have nothing to do with attacking us. We need to go after Osama bin Laden and Al-Qaeda, and they're in Afghanistan. Now, I just want to make a quick caveat that even till this day, there are many people, especially Republicans, that still think and don't have the information to think that Iraq attacked us on 9/11. There's still people who are confused about this. They still don't get it. They see a Muslim, they see a brown person, and they must be all the same. Not knowing that, no, Al-Qaeda in Iraq were mortal enemies. Right? So if Al-Qaeda attacked us, it wouldn't have definitely had nothing to do with Iraq, because they are also at war with each other. Right? So at the end of the day, Obama decides we're going to go after bin Laden and we're going to go after Afghanistan, go into Afghanistan. SEAL Team 6 captures bin Laden. They dump his body in the ocean. We kill bin Laden. Everybody's happy. Everybody's cheering. Obama looks like the great commander-in-chief, right? And he's doing all the photo ops. Everything's good. But for some reason, The one thing that didn't happen is we never left. We stayed at perpetual war with them. We completed the objective. The objective was to punish the people who attacked us and make them pay. We did that. We killed the person responsible, but for some reason we stayed in this situation in this country with with these people for 2 decades. So one of the things we call it is the forever war, because we've been there forever. We've been there for 2 decades, 20 years. It's going on September 11th will make the 20-year anniversary of us being there. So Joe Biden now decides that it's time to pull out, which I agree with. We should have been gone from there, right? We should have never been in Iraq in the first place, and we should have been gone out of Afghanistan over a decade ago. But okay, so he's saying now it's time to pull out. We can't stay in perpetual war. It's time to end the forever war. Okay, so it's reported, it says the U.S. preliminary plan on Afghanistan is to remove at least some of the contractors from the Pentagon and bring the troops home. So it says President Joe Biden said on Wednesday that he will be withdrawing troops from Afghanistan on May 1st to end America's longest war, rejecting calls for him to stay to ensure peaceful resolution to that nation's grinding internal conflict. It says, as of October, there were more than 18,000 contractors, including 6,000 Americans and 7,000 third-party nationals, according to the government watchdog. It says there are preliminary plans that are being revised to extract contractors and military personnel, the Pentagon spokesperson John Kirby said. He also added that he had no details on how many contractors would be removed and suggested the plans could change. It says the Afghanistan government relies heavily on foreign contractors and trainers, including for the maintenance of some military aircraft. The top U.S. diplomat on Thursday tried to reassure Afghanistan President Ashraf Ghani that despite the departure of U.S. troops, the United States will remain committed to Afghanistan. The foreign troops withdrawals have raised concern that the country could erupt in a full-scale civil war, providing al-Qaeda space in which to rebuild and plan new attacks on U.S. and other targets. Now, I'm not too much worried about that, and I'm going to tell you why. I think, of course, these are coming from type of publications, and some of these individuals are nothing more than damn war hawks. They don't want to end the war, so, it's in al-Qaeda and the people's best interest for us to keep occupying them and keep their country in perpetual war, which is bullshit. Now, I would say that I'm not naive, and, every action has an equal and opposite reaction. This is one of those things where you have cause and effect, so of course us pulling out and coming home and leaving that region is going to have consequences, and we're going to have to find out what those consequences are. But the alternative of staying in perpetual war or staying there indefinitely forever and occupying those people is just not an option. Now, I'm sure that it could be a possibility that that country is going to end up in a big-ass civil war with al-Qaeda trying to topple the Afghan government. And I'm not sure how equipped the Afghan government is to protect themselves, but that is now going to be a problem that they are going to have to figure out as their country for their people. I think it's unfortunate that we went in there and destabilized the whole region in the first goddamn place. And I don't think that we should just pull out and leave them bare, right? Let's say if they wind up in a civil war and the people there start suffering. I don't know what to do. I know one thing is for sure, two things are for certain. We need to get the hell out of there. So that has to happen. And it's not going to be no pretty way to do it. This is what happens when you go into occupied countries. And you are in a war you go to war with a country for 20 goddamn years. Right? It's not going to be no pretty way to do it. No matter if it's now, no matter if it's 20 years from now, 100 years from now. So you're going to have to do it. You're going to have to face the consequences. And then you're going to have to adjust and see what happens from there. So that country is probably going to, I think it might be safe to say that there is going to be some action there as soon as we pull all of our troops out. There's already been talks about it, right? Al-Qaeda's already been making threats. Now, as far as Al-Qaeda coming to attack us and if we pull out, they're going to come and we're going to be a target. Listen, man, these people have rocket launchers, short-range missiles for their country. They have AK-47s and stones, right? When they attacked us the first time, remember, they had to use our technology against us. They had to use our planes to actually attack us. They didn't have long-range ballistic missiles. They didn't have no nuclear bombs or long-range nuclear capabilities where they could attack us. So I'm not worried about them coming. If they want to come attack us, they're going to have to come on our soil, and they're going to have to try to devise another plan to figure out how to use our technology technology against us. They don't have the capability to attack us from Afghanistan, and so that's bullshit, right? This is just one of those things that you're going to hear Republican politicians and those people who are in the military and military contractors talking points to try to keep us in wars forever. You remember, they didn't have the capabilities to attack us from Afghanistan, obviously, and they didn't. And once they got to America to plot the attack, they didn't have none of the equipment, weaponry, or technology to use that was going to be able to do anything on a major scale. So what did they do? They turned out planes against us. So we got pretty much a lot of safety precautions in there. We've been hit one time. That's something for our government, our military to figure out to protect us and keep us safe. Not to go over there and occupy, pillage, rape, murder those people forever, right? At some point, yeah, we come home and we got plenty things, we got plenty systems in checks in place already for terrorist attacks, whether it's from Al-Qaeda or anybody else. That's not an excuse to go over there and stay at perpetual war in Afghanistan because they might come on American soil and attack. Well, if or when it happens, we will cross that bridge when we get there, and we have mechanisms in place to deal with that. Okay, so it's time to come home, and that is my assessment. But like I say, I'm also not naive and I'm not idiotic. When you go occupy a place for 20 goddamn years, when you go destabilize a place and you cause all that havoc and you go to perpetual war with a country for that long, there are going to be major consequences when you leave, and when you leave abruptly, right? This ain't no shit where like we were leaving and we're leaving over a few years or we're transitioning out. Biden's like, we're getting the hell out of there, which brings me to the point of why I think Biden is pulling out from Afghanistan. I think Biden's pulling out of Afghanistan because he sees exactly what I'm seeing. Afghanistan ain't much of a problem right now, and that's not the issue. We need to bring our troops home and we need to regroup because there is implications that there are about to be major war popping off. We don't got time to be preoccupied with shit that happened on 9/11 20 years ago. We don't got the luxury to be preoccupied with that type of shit because we got shit that's happening in May 7th, 2021 right now as I speak. So there's no time to be wasting and having our eyes off the ball. It's time to look ahead and try to, that's what a good chess player do, right? You try to anticipate moves in advance. Now, we're still fighting petty ass wars that should have been over decades ago. How in the hell can we be fully prepared for what's about to come? So I think Biden is doing the right thing and the strategic thing, but him doing that is another thing that is basically telling me, got my eyebrows raised. Why Biden would not be pulling out of Afghanistan because he feels for the Afghan people or he wants to do the morally right thing. He don't give a damn about moral. Again, he's the reason we over there in the first damn place, right? He was for the Iraq War, the biggest blunder in U.S. foreign policy history. I got my eyebrows raised and hairs are standing up on the back of my goddamn neck because I see like, whoa, Joe Biden's bringing troops home? Joe Biden would never bring troops. If anything, Joe Biden would be one of the people who would vote that, put more troops there and be there another 40 years. No, he's bringing the troops home because we got a bigger fish to fry, right? And nobody's talking about this. You're not hearing this on CNN, on MSNBC, Fox News, or no other YouTube outlet, but I'm going to tell you that there is a war brewing. There is trouble brewing. There's a major trouble brewing. All right, so that article made me suspicious. Now remember, that was a couple weeks back. Now I'm going to go into some new articles to go ahead and give weight to what I'm telling you, that we may be going into a third world war unlike any other war we ever see, because now we might be going into war with nuclear capable countries.